the debuting Jason Streets.
Of course, in the ring right now, we have the Rocket taking on Jason Streets. Ooh, shoulder right in the midsection. Oh, the Rocket flips right over Jason Streets. Look at this. Jason Streets caught. He caught the Rocket. Oh!
Before we get into this, I just want to say thank you to BodySlam Productions for allowing me to use their amazing artistry and recording for what we're about to get into. Thanks, guys. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Sweat and Iron. I am Graham, your host, and who else do we have here?
It's Connie. I'm back.
All right, Connie's back. Connie is back. If you missed out on another episode with Sandra, I had Connie help me out with the intro. I'm going to have her help me out with this intro, too. This episode, we are going to be talking about Jason Streets. But Connie has not heard the interview yet, so this is going to be an interesting intro. She's heard the teaser, though. I posted that. She just smiled at me. She's not saying anything. She's just going to giggle. And you heard the teaser. What's your impression of Mr. Jason Streets?
It sounds like a really interesting story. It sounds like he's had an interesting background and a lot of experiences that are not within my realm of experience. So I look forward to hearing the interview.
And so what part is it that you think is the experience that you don't have any experience with?
Well, prison, obviously.
Oh, prison. Okay, I guess that would be a dead giveaway.
And I guess professional wrestling. I don't have any experience with that either.
No. Did you ever get into wrestling?
My brother did. He was a huge NWO fan, and so I caught a lot of it when I was trying to ignore it, but...
What about your dad?
No.
No, your dad was never into wrestling? Your dad was more into basketball.
Yeah, basketball, football, baseball.
But Eric was into the wrestling and NWO, which was Hulk Hogan and all those other guys, taking over the network, causing anarchy. Rah! Well, let me just tell you that Jason Streets is along the same lines as, you look on TV and you see all the big names and everything. He does the same thing. The only difference is that he's working in an independent corporation. And we're going to get into that, and we get into why he got into wrestling, what got him into fitness, and a whole lot more. So I hope you're really, really riled up about this as much as I am, because that teaser was just tip of the iceberg, man. Talking to Jason Streets, Jason was just, he is an awesome guy to get to know. I had a lot of fun talking with him, and without further ado, enjoy the show.
So we're here with Jason Streets.
Jason Streets, that's right. Local South Louisiana independent professional wrestler.
Yeah, independent. So what organization?
I'm with the organization called GSW, which is stands for Gulf State Wrestling. Mm-hmm. And I also wrestle for a wrestling organization called Mid-South Championship Wrestling, which a lot of people know about that organization, because a lot of greats such as Sting, Ric Flair, just anybody who was everybody back in the day wrestled for that,
So when you're not wrestling for one, you're wrestling for the other type thing, or you catch a gig here?
We have each one, along with there's another one called Pro Wrestling 225. There's one called out of Lafayette area, I think it's called APW, which is Action Pack Wrestling. So I mean, everybody does their shows. They kind of never do shows on the same night. It's different nights. So even though my base promotion is GSW, I still go out and wrestle for the other organizations, because, like I said, I'm an independent wrestler. Being an independent wrestler means you can wrestle for any organization you want.
Now I saw on your Facebook that what was it, last week? It was a week where you I messaged you and you said, I'm out on the road for some shows, I'll get back to you. You posted
Right.
a video where you were going to someplace and you said, I'm not on the ticket for any fights, but I'm just going to show up. Did
Right,
anything
right.
happen?
It actually did. Yeah, I didn't get in the one-on-one match when I got there, but there was a kind of a Royal Rumble match with about 25 people, and I was able to get in that.
Ooh.
And unfortunately, I lost. I didn't make it.
Oh. So, the reason why I'm interviewing you is because I was listening to a podcast a while ago where somebody interviewed a wrestler, and it brought back a lot of memories from my childhood of wrestling and the roots of wrestling and what I really loved about wrestling. And since my podcast is around fitness and nutrition,
Right.
I thought I could just intertwine all that because I know there's other people out there that love wrestling still to this day. And I know, I'm one of the people that some of the wrestling, it's kind of veered off from its roots a little bit, but I still enjoy it. And there's still people out there that, we all remember the glory days of like late 80s, mid and late 90s. And it's really cool that I can sit. I mean, I'm not sitting down side by side with you, but it's just cool.
Right.
It's cool that I'm able to talk to you over
Yeah.
internet about this. So I was hoping that you could tell me how a guy like you got into wrestling, because I gave you a compliment earlier. I mean, you got an awesome, not that I'm not into dudes or anything, but a
Well,
guy
no.
can compliment another guy and say, dude, you got an
Yeah.
amazing body.
I mean, especially in the fitness world. I mean, we all, as guys, we all respect another guy that takes care of himself. So,
You've got a great
but
build.
yeah, I mean, I try. I've been working out for about 20 years. I'm 42 years old. But I mean, the way I got into wrestling was just actually I'm friends with two promoters of the organization I'm with, and we just happened to be out at a casino one night, and we playing poker in the poker room, and they just started talking to me. They're like, "Man, why you don't wrestle for us? You got the build for it. Even though I'm short, I look good. I got the build for it. I'm athletic and stuff." And they, especially with their, one thing about independent wrestler with we wrestle in small towns. So like the promotion here is more about, for ticket sales, you want a couple of people on the card that are local and have a good reputation, and they know I have a good reputation, and I would bring good ticket sales. So that's kind of how I got into it, because of course growing up I always thought wrestling was awesome. I would have loved to do it, and to me it's just also another way to reach out to people and show people that you could do something with yourself in life, no matter where you came from.
And how your debut was what year?
I think it was
Was it 2014?
2000. What's that?
Was it 14?
I think it was 15.
15. Okay. I knew it was around there. I just couldn't remember, because I was looking at everything over the past couple weeks. I've researched you, not in a creepy way, but
Right. Don't be a creeper.
So what did you do? What did you do before wrestling? Let's get the background of Jason Streets. Where are you from originally? What have you done, and what brought you to wrestling?
Well, I'm from. You just want my whole life story?
Well, what brought you into fitness to begin with? Because I'm gonna guess that you had a decent build before you started wrestling.
Right.
So a lot of us, we have reasons for why we chose to start getting fit. Maybe, in my case, it was my son was born. It's my second kid. And I realized, I got a lot of weight I got to lose. And based upon, my grandparents' health and, how everybody else has lived their life, I want to be a lot healthier than people who've come before me. So I want to set a good example.
Right.
Other people, it's they might have been diagnosed with diabetes or early stage diabetes, and they want to get out of that. What's your reason?
Well, for me, as me and you talked a little bit before this, and like you said, you investigated a little bit. It was more of a way just to start a change in myself. I was a real skinny guy, and but it wasn't really about working out and getting in shape just because I wanted to get in shape because I was skinny. At the time that I started working out, I was actually in prison. I was in prison for armed robbery. And I don't know, somewhere's in the middle, maybe towards the end of my prison sentence, I just realized I wanted to make a change.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the ways to make a change and to do what, you know, I mean, I don't know how I could say this, but like in prison, there's not a whole lot you could do to better yourself. I mean, you could take a trade and stuff like that, which I did. But one way you could better yourself and stay out of trouble is by hitting the weights. And so that's what I started doing. I didn't want to, because for a while I stayed in trouble in prison. I mean, and people don't realize it's just like living in a smaller city. So
It's a whole nother world.
It's a whole nother world, but with everything in that world, drugs, everything. And you could easily fall into that, which I did at first.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like I said, somewhere along the way, I realized that didn't need to be my life, and I didn't want that to be my life. So I wanted to start making a change, and I did that through working out, lifting weights, and just trying to get in shape. And from there, I took a couple trades and just made a real decision that when I got out, I was going to stay out, not only stay out, but show other people that you can, especially even other inmates, young people that get in trouble, just show them that there's a better way.
Now you're a carpenter by day, wrestler by night.
Yes, sir.
So that means that you picked up carpentry while you were in prison?
Yes, I actually took carpentry trade school in prison. It was a year and a half. It was an 18-month course, so I graduated that. And after I graduated that, there was a cabinet shop in the prison where they actually built cabinets for, have you ever heard of Habitat for Humanity?
Oh, yeah.
Well, they did the cabinets for some of the Habitat for Humanity houses. So I got into that shop and started building cabinets and doing that. And that's how I got into the carpentry. So when I was released from prison, I liked doing that, and I kept doing it.
And speaking as a guy I don't know how it works in there. If you're in jail and you want to sign up for one of these classes for trade, I mean,
Right.
how does that work exactly? Do they offer it to you? Is there some sort of bulletin board?
Well, you have to. There's papers, and there's in prison, not jail. Jail's like a county jail. That's for people waiting to be sentenced and stuff.
Thanks for correcting my vocabulary.
After your sentence, you go to a state prison. So state prisons offer trade schools, and most state prisons have like a open dormitory, maybe a barracks type of living.
Yeah.
And there's a front desk with the security officer at the desk, and there's he'll have stacks of different papers that you can fill out to get in the trade school. So you fill out one of the papers, but you have to have been out of trouble for like at least 6 months, no disciplinary action, stuff like that. And you also have to be within 5 years of being released.
Oh, so it's kind of like one of our jobs here. It's kind of like getting a promotion in a way. It's getting
right.
a perk. You're getting a perk. You be good in your job. Well, in your case, in prison for an extended period of time, and then they allow you to do this. Oh, wow, that's
exactly. They'll if you fill out all the requirements, they'll put you on a waiting list because there's usually a pretty big waiting list, and as soon as a spot comes available in the class, that you'll get it. And it's actually the trade schools are actually like the two trades. I took carpentry. I graduated carpentry and culinary arts, and both of those trades were from an actual college nearby that they send professors to the prison to teach these classes.
Oh no, shit! You did cooking school?
Yes, sir, I did.
Oh, so like, what's your best dish?
I like, of course, I'm from South Louisiana, so I like making, some seafood stews and gumbo, stuff like that.
You like them nice and seasoned and hot, huh?
Oh yeah.
Spicier the better.
Yep, just like our women.
That is wow. That is a very interesting background. I've never, and I say that because I've never talked to somebody who's been in prison and gotten out of prison and has turned their life around based upon, self-reflection on their previous doings. So when
Right.
you're in prison, what's the gym like there?
It's kind of like any other. Of course, there's no cardio. You don't have treadmills and stuff like that. It's all just weights, benches. You have all the benches. You have all the machines like your lat pull down machines. You have squat racks. You have leg presses. Everything for a weightlifting. Not anything really for a cardio person. But I mean, you could always run the track and stuff. But it'll just be the whole weight area, maybe 400 square feet of weights, and most prisons will have one weight area outside with a covered with a little tin roof, and they'll also have one inside of a gym because most prisons have a gym with basketball courts and stuff like that.
So was the prison you were in? It had the outdoor gym. How was
Right, it had an outdoor
how's the weather
gym
there?
and an indoor gym. Weather in Louisiana's pretty good most of the time. It never gets real cold here, so you can work out outside most of the time. It'll get pretty hot though sometimes, so you gotta drink plenty of water when you're working out in the summertime.
Now, you're working out in the prison gym, whether it's inside or outside.
Right.
Have you seen any? Have there been any issues working out in the gym? Like, have you seen things in the gym?
In the weight area, actually, no. Most guys, I mean, of course, you have people from every walks of life in prison, and you have some guys who really don't care about the next man. But most guys that are working out, that's what they're focused on. I mean, that's a release for them. While you working out with your buddies and other guys under there, it's almost like a brotherhood, and most of those guys, they're not getting bigger because they want to cause trouble or whatever. They just want to work out and get an escape.
It's like in the real world out here. You go to your gym and you're just there to focus. You've got a goal in mind.
Exactly. I mean, and also like in prison, there's multiple sports. There's organized football, full contact football, soccer, stuff like that. And any guys that play those sports, most of them stay out of trouble because they want to. If you get in trouble, then you can't play sports.
Is that same for the trade school as well? If you're in the trade school, you get in trouble.
Well, that's for. If you get in too much trouble, you end up getting put in a cell block, which you don't have access to the sports. You know what I mean?
Okay, it's because it's kind of off in its
in
separate area.
It's in a whole different area. So.
So how long were you in prison for again?
I was actually in prison for, I say 13 years, but 12 years, 9 months. I went into prison. I was 18 years old in 1994. So
you're just a kid.
Yeah, I was a kid. I had no direction in life.
Made stupid decisions.
I was living
hung out with the wrong people.
Exactly. I was hanging around with a gang. I wasn't exactly a gang member, but I was hanging around with a gang and thought it was a good idea to carry a gun on me. And next thing you know, I needed some money and robbed somebody. And that was in 1994. I got out in 2007, and I've stayed good ever since, I guess you could say.
Good on you. Good on you.
Right.
So you've been a carpenter then ever since you came out.
Exactly.
And so when it comes to carpenters, you got the guys that they do the flooring, they do. I mean, what's do you do everything?
Yeah, actually here, I'm just a general carpenter. I do everything from the floors all the way to the roof. I mean, I've been doing it, like I said, for quite a while now, and I'm pretty good at all of it. So, like currently, I'm doing an addition on the house, and I'm doing the whole addition. I'm even doing the electrical and the plumbing.
Are you a one-man show?
I have one guy that we kind of a partnership.
Uh-huh.
So
I gotta say,
I do stuff on my own, but when it's a bigger job like this addition we're doing, then I get somebody to work with.
nice. Yeah, I not that we recently had our first floor redone, and it was the first time I've ever hired somebody to do the work for me. Ever since I grew up, my dad was always, you got to do it yourself. You got to do it yourself. But here's the problem, Jason. I am not. I'm good with some things, but I'm not good with others. And when it comes to a first floor, and I'm thinking that we're going to be moving in the next 5 to 7 years, I don't want to screw up that floor.
Right.
So if I'm going to be staying here for the rest of our lives, I'd be like, oh, okay, I did it. Yeah, no problem.
Well, yeah.
But this is the first time I ever had anybody hired, and it was these two brothers that subcontract, and the guy said the same thing. He said, I like to do jobs by myself sometimes, but when it's this big, huge 3,000 square foot, first floor like you got going on,
Mm-hmm.
calling my brother to get it. Otherwise, I want to be here for days.
Right.
But anyways, a little tidbit there. Totally got off on a tangent. So let's get back to wrestling and working out. So did you? Actually, can we go back just one more time to the prison working out?
Yeah.
How often did you work out in the gym when you were in prison?
I worked out the same as from the day I started working out. I was always just the type of person I am. I'm gonna give it my all type of person.
Uh-huh.
I mean, when I was a criminal, I gave it my all. And, work, I give it my all. Gym, I give it my all. So I started working out in 2004. So I think it was 2003. And from the very first day to even now, I work out 7 days a week. I don't take rest days, off days, anything.
7 days a week. So
Yes.
since you're probably doing, you obviously, like the rest of us, probably mix up your workouts a little bit just so you can, you still stick to a routine of 7 days a week, but you probably mix it up a little bit every once in a while, right? So that way
a
you
little
can.
bit. You gotta fool the muscles, because if not, they'll stop growing on you.
Rightio. So, what's your normal routine look like for working out 7 days a week?
My normal routine, 6 of those 7 days are pretty hardcore. The one day will be, mainly like working on my abs and stuff like that. But the other 6 days, I work out for about an hour and a half a day, and I usually separate. I'll do chest one day, back the next day, but whatever I'm working out, I'll do. If it's chest, I usually do 26 to 30 sets for that muscle.
Oh.
And I usually work out. I start out heavyweight, light reps for my presses and my hard, the hard hitter exercises. And
your compounds.
Right, and then I'll go more to the at the end of my workout, go for a few more reps, lighter weights for my flies and just stuff, the toning exercises.
So how long do you spend in the gym on your day that you're there?
Roughly about an hour and a half.
Oh, okay, so not that long actually.
No, not really.
So here's a question that some people giggle at, but do you get your cardio in, or do you just lift your weights faster and that's how you get your cardio in?
No, I do. In the winter months, I don't worry about cardio so much, because I try to put on a little extra weight, which is hard for me because my metabolism's super high. But I try to not do cardio and put on a little extra weight and really make my muscles and my body grow. That way, when the summertime comes, I do start doing cardio and try to work on my abs and stuff a little bit more and cut the fat off.
Ooh.
And hoping I'll be a little bit bigger than I was last summer as far as muscle wise. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah, I can't remember which episode it is, but my best friend I interviewed, and he's always had a hard time putting on muscle because he's got a fast metabolism. It just
Right.
he could eat everything in the room and still have a problem putting on the muscle. But it also came down to the fact that he didn't understand calories in, calories out type thing. So
Right.
When it comes to your nutrition, do you look at calories at all, or do you have a coach at all, or how does
No,
that?
I don't have a coach. I mean, I do try. I don't exactly write down what kind of calories write down my calories, but I mean, just from years of doing it, I kind of know about how many calories I'm eating in every meal I eat. So I do try to eat. I try to I try to eat at least 3,000 calories a day. Get that in me. But
Yeah.
when I and it's hard for me because I don't like to eat. If I really want to put on weight, for somebody with my metabolism, I need to eat roughly 5,000 calories or more. But that's extremely hard for me to do.
So you really don't look forward to the winter time that much when you really want to
Mm,
put on that.
no, not really.
Oh, but you got the culinary arts, man. Doesn't it taste good at least? Well, I mean, it's not so much the taste; it's that it's having to
Yeah,
pack it in, isn't it? It's having
right.
to pack it in.
That's the main thing. Just it's not the taste. It's just being the being uncomfortable of eating every 2.5 hours.
Oh man. Yeah, I don't think I would like that either. You know, I actually got so used to the amount of food I had to eat when I'm doing a cut that when I
Hmm.
decided to go to maintenance, where we want to maintain our weight and everything, I thought that was a lot of food. And then when I thought I was going to try to put on some weight, some mass, I was
Hmm.
like, good Lord, man, I got to eat that many more calories. How much? Oh my gosh, that's a lot of
Oh
food.
yeah, it is. It's extremely.
Some of these guys that do this you do this professionally, the guys that do the bodybuilding professionally, all of them,
Right.
it's phenomenal what people do in order to be the best at what they do, to look good at what they do.
It is. I was actually gonna try the bodybuilding thing one time, and I think that lasted for 4 months.
Oh
It was a little bit extremely too strict.
yeah, yeah, they do. They are. I mean, if you don't like doing that 5,000 calories, then you're really not going to like the when you're done putting on the muscle, that stage where they shrink,
Hmm.
shrivel up at the
Right.
end there.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the cutting and the getting rid of the water weight and all that.
Yeah, between you and me, that's bananas. I would never want to do it. But I mean, if they're good, if they enjoy doing it and they're good at it and they keep on
Right.
winning, by all means, they can keep on doing it. But it's not for me, and that's why I don't do it. Instead, what I like to do is just I like to go to that gym and I like to lift weights just so I can get that pump, get those
Right.
endorphins going because I feel the greatest when I'm in the gym and right after I leave the gym. That 4 to 6 hour period after you leave the gym
Hmm.
where it's just like zen.
Right.
So you get a decent workout in every day. That's pretty cool. And I wouldn't expect any less from someone who's got the body that you do and wanting to be a top-notch wrestler. Let's get back to wrestling then.
Right.
So you let's kind of step back as far as you looking at wrestling. Who are the wrestlers that you looked up to? Like when you thought about doing the wrestling, when these guys were talking
Right.
to you and said, "Hey, you want to go to wrestling?" Who pops into your mind?
Well, whenever I was asked, actually, when I was asked to go into wrestling, um, I grew up as a kid. I loved wrestling, and then as an adult, I hadn't watched wrestling in 20 years, maybe.
Uh-huh.
So, all these new guys or newer, I say new guys, the guys in the last 20 years, I don't really know any of them. People like, The Rock and all them. I mean, I know who they are, but I never really watched them guys wrestle. And it's funny because in the wrestling business, most guys, they've always loved wrestling. They've never stopped watching it. They've always been a WWE fans, so they know everybody. So it's funny because in the locker room, a lot of these guys will be talking about like I remember one time I was in the locker room and somebody was telling me that I needed to work on a move that was similar to one of guy. You know who the wrestler Sheamus is, right?
Oh yeah.
The pale skin, red hair guy.
Hmm.
I found out who he was after. I had no idea who Sheamus was. They're like, are you serious, bro? I'm like, yeah, I'm serious. I don't know who he is.
You were stuck in like 1992,
Yeah, I was
1996.
that and before. You know, I mean, people like Macho Man, Randy Savage,
Oh yeah.
Hulk Hogan, and maybe a little bit after them, people like The Undertaker and stuff like that. Uh, those all. But I mean, yeah, when I picture wrestling, like you said earlier, it's kind of gotten away from the way it was. I mean, the old school wrestling, everything was just bigger than life, larger than life. And in my mind, that's even today, I feel like that's what wrestling still should be. And for half the guys, especially in the independent wrestling business, but also in WWE, they've gotten away from that. I mean, but I say that, and I'm also lucky because of that, because I'm a small guy. As I told you, I'm 5'6". I'm 175 pounds, which doesn't sound like much, but if it wouldn't be for stuff like the cruiserweight divisions they have now and all that in the WWE, that made it a little bit easier for your normal guy to get into it.
Right, because a
And
lot of them are like 6'7", 7 foot.
right. So, but now you have, even in WWE, you have cruiserweights. You know, you have people like AJ Styles, who's a small guy. He's not much bigger than me, and he's a world champion. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So
So let's go. Let's see. Your debut was with, what was the guy's name that you debuted with? I had a hard time hearing his name.
his name was Toby Stacks.
Toby Stacks. That's right.
Yes.
So that was your very first official match.
Yeah, that was my first ever match.
So how do you prepare for your first match? I mean, okay, before you go into your first match, let's say you signed up.
Mhm.
You went through the whole rigmarole of we're going to give you they gave you a contract, right?
There's no contracts in independent wrestling.
Oh, there isn't. Okay, so
No,
I just
sir.
learned something. So actually, can you fill me in on what the process is then if you want to go into independent wrestling?
Well, the process is you do have to train. There's trainer schools usually in any state for independent wrestling, but they're few and far in between. You might have to drive up to 3 or 4 hours away to go to a training school. I was lucky enough that one of the promoters of the Gulf State Wrestling actually had a training school right here in town where I'm at, and so it was like it was $1,800, $1,800 for the training. Was, they'll train you for like 6 months, a couple times a week for 6 months. You do the training, and then everything has to be licensed through the state commission, which the state commission also, any shows you do, promoter does or whatever, you have to pay the state commission their cut, I guess you call it, stuff like that. So you have to get a wrestling license. It's a professional wrestling license. It's not expensive. It's $25, but you have to have 3 known wrestlers, independent wrestlers, vouch for you that you did train and you are a professional wrestler. So.
Sounds to me like similar to when you want to go into being like a electrician or whatever. You gotta be
right.
licensed.
Just say a plumber. I mean, if you want to be a licensed plumber, you have to get 2 plumbers.
Yep.
To vouch that you're capable. So.
Wow. Okay. So you how did you get some wrestlers to vouch for you then? Because you already knew the promoter.
Well, yeah, the two promoters, and I also had of course, just this other wrestlers locally. I had a third one vouch for me.
And it's
they were all there as a part of my training. So.
And by the time you get out of training, there's a lot of camaraderie. You guys are, it's like a brotherhood, I would assume. You guys are pretty close.
Yeah, I mean, you're usually pretty close. Of course, not everybody in the locker room's really close, but there's always a respect thing. You always respect every man in the locker room. You always shake every guy. Usually you go in the locker room, you shake every man's hand in there. You ask him how he's doing. Nice to see you. these days in the new age, some of the younger guys, even though I'm new to wrestling, fairly new, I still respect the old ways. Some of the newer guys, they tend not to do that all the time. So.
Mm-hmm. So what you mean? They just come in and they just do their own thing and they don't make eye contact. They kind of ignore people in the locker room.
Oh yeah. Some of these younger guys, they're younger, but they may have been wrestling for 10 years. When I say younger, they might be 27, 28 years old, been wrestling for 5 to 10 years already, and they think I don't want to say any language, but they think their poo doesn't stink. You know what I mean?
I understand.
So.
So okay, so you went through training, you had people vouch for you, and you got your license.
Mm-hmm.
So you're in.
You're in, then you just have to get a promoter to book you.
And then how does that work? You just network?
Yeah, network. I mean, like I said, the wrestling school I went to, the two promoters that I wrestled for, they were at the school, so obviously I had a job with them when I
you already
finished.
had the hookup.
Yeah, but I mean, you could. I mean, if you don't have that hookup like that, just say you went train somewhere out of state, and you come into this state and you want to start wrestling for a promotion. The best thing to do for that is just you go to a show, you show up early, maybe a couple hours early. The ring will be set up usually 4 or 5 hours before a show. You come in, you introduce yourself to some of the guys there. You find a promoter, introduce yourself to him, let him know you're a wrestler, and just start getting a ring maybe with a couple of guys. Because a lot of times, guys are already in the ring before fans start coming in, and they're doing a little training and stuff before. So, and a lot of times, as a new guy showing up like that, you might not get booked for that show that night. But by making that show, and the next time the promoter does a show and he has your number, he might give you a call.
Yeah, and they'll remember that you showed up, right? They'll be like, oh, so he is serious. He does want to be in there.
Right.
Ah, okay. So was that the first time you showed up? Was your debut? That was the very first time you showed up to a show?
Yeah, well, actually, I did. I worked, before I even trained, I did work security at shows for about 1.5 years.
Okay.
So I was doing security at the shows.
So when you got in the ring during your debut, was the adrenaline running? You're just like...
It was running, and I was extremely nervous.
So and for the outside public, when it comes to WWE, WCW, and all that, you always had Vince McMahon in the background going like, okay, they're going to win this match. They're going to get this belt. They're going to get this. Is any of this predetermined, or is it?
Are you trying to say wrestling's fake?
No, I would never say that. I am not saying that at all.
I mean, I think I know what you're leading up to on this question here, Graham. I'm just gonna plead the fifth on that.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. You know what? I'm gonna say that you go into that ring to win.
That's what you do.
That's what you do. That's what it's all about. You always go in there, and you're gonna win. So, your first match against
Toby Stacks.
Toby Stacks. Did you win?
I did win. I won my debut match.
Oh, snap.
And then I think I went on about a 5-match losing streak.
Oh, so they're like, oh, we can't let him get a big head right now. We got to let him know where he's at.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. So I've seen, I saw a little bit of that match. I saw the one where you're going against the Rocket.
Right.
And I saw one against this guy. They call him the 747. He looked massive. Hence his name. 747.
Yeah, he's a big, I think he's half Samoan guy, so pretty big guy.
He's a big guy. But I didn't finish that one. Did you win that one? Or wait. I think it ended with
it was a draw.
Yeah, the announcer came out saying like there was like this big old
we were wrestling, and me and him had already had a bunch of heat in and outside of the ring. So it was kind of a lot of animosity going on there. And somewhere in the middle of the match, we stopped wrestling and started fighting. We were just swinging. So
Oh, that's when everybody came out.
Yeah, they decided to stop the match.
Yeah, to everybody who's listening, this match, it was like both these guys were going at it. You got this big guy, and then you got Jason, who is like a quarter of the size of this guy. I mean, even though Jason has an amazing build to him, he was still small compared to this guy.
Right.
And it was going pretty well. It was like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then all of a sudden, you see these guys popping up. There was this guy with a camera that was like pointing and stuff. It was kind of distracting the crowd. And then the camera pans over to you two, and you're like going at it like blows. And then these guys just rush out of the side. And before you know it, it's like filled with 10 people in the ring to separate you guys.
Right. And with 740, the whole thing with the heat on that was 747 was actually he had some he actually helped train me, and we were actually best friends at one time. And there was a show previous to the match you saw, which wasn't on video, but we were going out to do a match, me and him, a tag team match against someone else, and he turned on me just for no reason. Turned on me, blindsided me, laid me out. So that's how our match ended up coming about. Yeah.
Well, that pissed me off too. I'd be like, oh, oh wow, that's so okay. In wrestling, a lot of people are used to the fact that you got good guys, you got bad guys.
Right. And a real quick tidbit, for not to cut you off, but for wrestling terminology, the good guys are called baby faces, which you call them a face for short, and the bad guys are called heels.
Okay, I was trying to figure out what you meant in your message to me earlier, because I was asking, and you're like, I'm a face, and I'm like, I have no idea what that is. I'll just wait till the interview.
Yeah, it's actually short for baby face, and that's your good guy.
So baby face is good guy.
Yeah, and a heel is a bad guy.
Heel is bad. How did those terms come about? Do you know?
I'm not sure. I've never researched or asked anyone how that came about.
All right. Well, I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah.
Wow. So you're babyface then? Yeah,
I'm a babyface in most places except for when I go wrestle for Mid South Wrestling. They're more of a. I live in South Louisiana. That's more than central to North Louisiana.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, I just don't like the people there. I don't like the fans or the wrestlers. So they hate me, I hate them. It's fine.
So it just works for your character there. You're just like, yeah,
yes, it does.
You treat me like crap. I don't care. I hate this place.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not missing anything. Most of the women fans are missing teeth and stuff like that. So.
Ooh. It's that kind of place, huh?
Oh yeah, real bunch of inbreds.
Whoa. So, oh boy. When it comes to your attire in wrestling, do you have to pay for your own whatever you wear, or does your promoter provide for you? How does that work out?
No, you get your own your gear is what we call our attire. Yeah, you buy your own gear, which can be pretty costly. I mean, if you really want some quality gear.
Yeah.
So I mean, just a pair of wrestling boots a good pair of boots can run you for about $400, $500.
That's how I feel about my work shoes.
Right.
You want a pair that lasts a long time and looks great. You got to be prepared to pay through the nose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there were quite a few. Some of your gear. Let's say I'm using terms now. You're teaching me. So some of your gear has actually looked pretty cool. I mean, there was the one where you were wearing this red. Was it the one with the rocket?
Just the red. Yeah, we actually both in that match. We both had red tights on.
Yeah.
So.
No, it looked badass. And then I really liked the camo pants that you were wearing.
Yeah, well, I got away from the red, all red, and I went with more of a gray and green camo for a while, and now I have it's like a camo with red in it. So I kind of like that, so I think I'll stick with that for a while.
You'll stick with that for a while. So what do you do
Yeah.
what do you do for boots? Does everybody wear boots, or do you wear shoes, or
No, I mean most guys wear boots. You have some guys that just like in WWE, you have some guys that, I mean, guys like what's his name in WWE, Kevin Owens or John Cena. You do have some guys like them that just come out in shorts and tennis shoes. I mean, that's not really how most people would picture a wrestler, but for some guys it works, I guess,
I see.
I mean,
you guys,
the main thing is that, like I told you, for old school wrestling, I feel like now is everything should be larger than life. So,
oh yeah,
I don't know. Some guys choose to come out in regular clothes, which I don't respect. I mean, because you're trying to, you are, even though we're athletic and it's a sport, we do want to entertain people, and you try to make yourself look as large and as
I think I know what you're trying to say.
as possible, because you don't want the average guy in the audience thinking,
No,
he could do what you can do.
yeah. It's like my boss says, dress like you want this job, dress like you're
Right.
supposed to be doing this job. And to me, when I'm thinking of wrestling, I'm still thinking, you got Ric Flair, you got the $1 Million Man, you got all those guys that they went above and beyond what they wore. Sometimes it was outrageous.
Right.
And you're like, where do I find that? Is that even available in the store I go to?
Right.
But then you see these, like you said, they come out in just lounge gear, and you're just like, you're gonna, really?
Yeah, man, I could do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, actually, I saw this guy. There's this video that I posted on Instagram that somebody commented on that I didn't catch it at first because I'm not. The reason why I make videos of myself working out is so I could reference it later to be like, okay, I do. It's a combination of me to keep track of the weight I did, and so I could look
Right.
at form. And in this one video, I can't remember the workout that I was doing, but I was doing lateral raises, and there was a guy working out in the squat rack. He might have been doing squats. He might have been doing bench.
He wasn't doing curls, was he?
No.
We all hate a guy that does curls in the squat rack, don't we?
Jason, I've done curls in the squat rack, but I got defense here. It's usually, I only do it when there's nobody in the gym.
Okay.
I only do it when there's nobody there, or
You
if
get a
nobody.
free pass.
Okay, thank you. I only do it when the ellipticals and everything are all taken, but nobody's in the free weight area, and I know I could get 3 sets in. Otherwise, I'm just like, no, I could do it over here. I'll do it over here in the corner. Thank you for the free pass.
Oh yeah.
There's this guy. He was like in Crocs or something like that, and these he looked like he was gonna go sit in a lawn chair, and he was working out in this attire, and I'm just like, how is that? I guess if you're comfortable, but
Yeah, I guess.
I guess that's so funny. So what's your favorite workout in the gym?
My favorite, I love doing arms.
Yeah.
I'm strong on arms, but I would say my favorite, and I'm not sure if you've seen the video I posted recently on Facebook with me doing the weighted dips.
I saw that. You got the plates?
But yeah, I mean, that's one of my favorite workouts, and I don't really have any favorite workout because of how it makes me feel physically. I have favorite workouts that I can show off on, and that workout, I could wow people with it. That's why I like doing it.
That was pretty badass watching that.
Yeah, I'm kind of egotistical, so I do love a crowded gym. I don't love a quiet gym. I don't like going in the gym by myself because, I mean, plain and simple, I can't show off.
So who was recording that for you? Because at first I was like, you're definitely a deep South Louisiana man, and the guy with the camera, whoever's recording you, he starts talking. I'm like, okay, he's not the only one that's got that accent.
Right?
It must be the area.
Actually, he's one of the promoters that brought me into wrestling, he's also my best friend. His name's Mike Beadle. He's a promoter and a wrestler. His name's Mustang Mike, and he's actually been doing wrestling in independent wrestling for 25 years. And he's worked he's like me in the 3 years I've been working as a wrestler. I've met a few guys because we bring in the guys sometimes. You know, we have our local guys and all that. But for a show, you usually want to bring in one big name. But when I say bring in a big name, obviously we can't bring in a current big name. So it'll
Mhm.
be a has been. So, but I mean, he's actually wrestled with guys like AJ Styles and other guys that have made it to the WWE, but he's wrestled with them before they even ever made it to that.
Nice. Wow. So that actually goes into my next question, which is, do you ever go to the gym with your other wrestling buddies? I mean,
Just yeah, well, yeah, just like I said, this guy Mustang Mike, we're best friends, we're workout partners. I mean, we're almost like brothers. We've been knowing each other for a long time, and sometimes we do have one other guy that wrestles, comes works out with us.
and you said you like a busy gym, so I'm going to imagine you going there with Mustang Mike and
Right,
possibly a third person,
right. And
and you
Mustang,
guys.
I left out before you keep going. I left out Mustang Mike's. He's about 6'4" and he's about 240 pounds, so he's really a large guy.
Oh, well, I mean, you're probably used to it though, being, I mean, compared to everybody else that you wrestle with. I mean, because of your height and everything, you're like, okay. So the first thing that comes to my mind is, wasn't okay in WWF and all that. Who was the wrestler? There was a wrestler that I'm thinking of that was always small compared to everybody. Was that Chris Benoit or
Yeah, I think it was Chris Benoit. He's a shorter guy. But
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
there have been many guys over the years that haven't been that tall. And I mean, one you remember the Dudley boys?
Oh yeah.
I think the one shorter Dudley. I think he was only 5'7", which is my height.
And then
And
there was X-Pac, whatever.
yeah, yeah, you're right. Yeah, that was the name. X-Pac part of the him and Road Dogg, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you have a lot of shorter guys, and then you even have guys like right now, guys such as Rey Mysterio,
Hmm.
which is a pretty big name in wrestling. He's I think he's 5'5".
Whoa.
So, but he's one of the most popular wrestlers in the WWE right now.
But when you guys are in the when you guys are working out in the gym, I'm just imagining you guys doing your workout, but it's above and beyond what everybody else is doing. So you get some people that are just like, what's going on over there? Do you guys ever
Oh
have
yeah.
people come over and take pictures and stuff of what you're doing? And then I'm gonna also guess that also boosts your ego a little bit. So then you just really get into your workout even more.
Well, of course, yeah. I mean, we do get plenty of people asking us how we get so strong. Just always asking for advice, and we also have plenty of. I mean, locally there's 3 gyms. So we go to Anytime Fitness, one of the Anytime Fitnesses. So obviously there's a lot of women in there. So
Oh yeah.
sometimes we get, and I don't mean that in a good way. I mean we get the looks like we need to shut the hell up and be quiet.
Oh, oh yeah,
So
I know what
we
you're talking
do
about.
we do get loud. I mean we work out heavy and hard. We get loud. I was kicked out of all 3 gyms in where I live at one time for being too loud and obnoxious.
Was one of them Anytime Fitness?
One of them was Anytime Fitness, and then about a year ago, they I was kicked out of all 3. I ended up making my own home gym in my garage. Worked out like that for a while, and I did a lot of just a lot of body weight exercises. But then the Anytime Fitness ended up getting new owners, which let me come back.
I was,
But they asked me to tone it down.
okay. I was gonna say from Planet Fitness, I expect them to kick you out, but I wouldn't expect that from Anytime Fitness. But I guess you must have been really loud.
Yeah, we get a little loud.
You get a little rambunctious.
Oh yeah, that was part of that. And it's I guess you could say that learning to work out in prison because that's how we did it in prison. I mean, we're old school. We worked out hard. We worked out loud, which can actually, for people that are really into growing and working out, it's actually motivational. I mean, like when I was kicked out of gyms, most of the time, 90% of the members knew me, and when they see me, they're like, "Man, that sucks. They kicked you out, man. You'd always, even though I curse and get loud, even other people around me are like, man, you'd motivate me so much to want to work out harder."
Oh, wow.
But you have the few that didn't like that, and so the gym owners had to respect that. And I don't hold anything against them. I mean, I just work out the way I work out. I don't do it. I'm not trying to assault or intimidate anybody. I'm doing it to motivate myself and my gym buddy.
What were the other 2 gyms that you got kicked out of?
Just there's just local gyms.
Local gyms? Okay.
Yeah, just mom and pop gyms. They wasn't they're not franchises or anything.
We don't have a lot of mom and pop gyms around here. They're mostly mainstream gyms. You got Anytime Fitness, which I like. I like the fact that if you go to one, you can go to any of them. It's very convenient. But then we also got, we got Peak Fitness, and of course there's the YMCA, but I don't know. But I think there's some other ones that are kind of smaller, but you got to pay through the nose to be a part of them, I'm
right.
Not into that. The one thing that I never really, maybe it's because I got kids now, but I can't see myself belonging to more than one gym. And
right.
I think I know why people do it. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you belong to more than one gym because it's nice to have that different scenery, maybe, or
right.
Is it because one gym offers you different equipment than the other gym?
I'm guessing. I'm not sure. I've never had memberships to more than one gym, so I've.
Oh, so you're in my boat.
Yeah. Now the guy I work out with, Mustang, he has a membership to 2 gyms, but the only reason he had that is because when I got kicked out of one gym and went to another, he ended up following me, but he kept the membership to the previous gym because they had jacuzzis and stuff like that. He just like to be able to go and chill in a jacuzzi. So, but no, unfortunately myself, I don't make that kind of money to pay 2 gym memberships.
Yeah, I mean, carpentry is a good job. It's great, and especially if you're great at it. But right. I know some carpenters that, I mean, it's definitely not one of those jobs where if you want to live in a mansion, you don't pick carpentry. But
right. Unless you build your own mansion.
Right. Oh, yeah. I'm glad that you are in that area though for doing carpentry, because I feel like a lot of these jobs, not a lot of people. For a while there, it just seemed like those kind of jobs weren't being picked up as frequently. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. I mean, obviously, man, I don't know if a lot of people know when the economy went down and stuff like that. I think more in the northern states, y'all jobs were hard to get, but down here, I mean, South Louisiana, carpentry jobs never really died down, so it's been good for me.
Oh, okay. So listen up, y'all. If you want to go get a nice trade skill, go down to Louisiana.
Right.
Look up my man Streets.
Look me up.
He'll hook you up. Well, Jason, I think this has been an amazing interview, and I'm sure I could come up with some more questions, which would then lead to another interview, which I'm sure you're open to. And well, I'm hoping you're open.
Oh yeah, anytime, Graham, anytime.
Awesome. This was so much fun. I really enjoyed having you open up to me about, your background and then how you transitioned into where you are now. And I really enjoyed hearing how, if you want to go into wrestling, how the fitness fits into that, and what, it's interesting listening to that area, because I'm just an average Joe. I mean, you're lucky. You were an average Joe as a carpenter who became a wrestler, whereas I'm still just an average Joe that goes to the gym. So it's really cool to see where you've taken it and where you're at with it. So,
yeah. And I'll try to take it even more,
Oh yeah. So to all you listeners out there, I hope that you enjoyed this episode. And if you want to see Jason Streets at all, you stop down in Louisiana, look him up down there, and check out some of the shows. You can also find some of the stuff on YouTube. And other than that, is there another way that they can reach out to you?
Yeah, like you say, YouTube. I don't have videos on my channel, but people can just search Jason Streets Wrestler. Or they could they just want to see who I am. They can look for Jason Saint Germain, which is STGERMAIN on Facebook. So I also have Instagram, but I don't even remember my name on that one.
Yeah, after a while, it just becomes too much social media to remember,
Right.
All right, so the rest of you guys out there, you guys keep setting your goals, and you keep at it.